this morning I'm thinking of, so just settle yourself in the mat first of all. Just in Shavasana is fine for the moment. Make yourself comfortable. I know you just got up. It's a bit odd to then lie down again. It feels a bit decadent. So I'm focusing this morning's class round a Chinese proverb. We're doing a lot of Chinese stuff the last couple of days. And the proverb goes, when the wind of change blows, some build walls while others build windmills. Now, I presume from that, the premise is that if you build a windmill, you work with the change a lot better and with the wind a lot better. But as we go through here, we're going to do a few choices of what you want to do this morning. I think from the proverb, I would take it that it's not always that you've got to build a windmill. Sometimes you need a wall. So what I'm trying to say this morning is you've got to get in tune with yourself when you're facing challenges of any type in life. You've got to try and think, what do I really need? Not go with the first thing that you do, but go with gut instinct. So very easy class this morning with only about 6 or 7 poses. We're going to start with a breath. So without any control, just watch your breathing here, lying down. Try not to control it. Try just to be a witness. Just watch where it is and how you're breathing. Haven't done very much, but see how far into you it seems to go, the breath this morning now. And the sort of speed and the depth and whatever else you can find in just watching your breath. And then begin to control your breath. So let's take 3 inhale, exhales to a count of your 4. Just nice and smooth. Begin when you're ready. Inhale for 4. And turn to the exhale when you're ready for 4. Then take 3 breaths. Should be about onto your 3rd one with my talking. Just enjoy these nice, smooth, long breaths. And then let the breath go again. Let go of the control. Let it be and see. For 2 more breaths, just watch it now. See what happens. Is there any change? Might be a tiny, tiny change. Might be something quite big that you notice. Might be more linked to your breath. So from just watching the breath, now the choice is going to be, do you feel you need to expand your inhale? In other words, are you feeling this morning you need to add energy? Do you feel a bit sluggish? Or do you feel you need to slow the exhale? So maybe that's it. You need to just calm and be still and get yourself gathered together, ready for the week. So we're thinking of what we need to prepare ourselves for the week. Do you need energy? Or do you need to find some space? So from that point, the choice is here to breathe a 3-part inhale. So the one we do where you take a 1/3 of the breath and move your arms, a 1/3 and move them slightly more. You've got them on the floor at this point, and then this whole breath would be when your arms come almost above your head, as high up as you're comfortable on your shoulders. And then count of 4 back down on the exhale. So that's the bringing in energy breath. So if you feel that's the one you want, then begin on it now. So it's a 3-part inhale and just continue with it. If you feel you want to be a little bit calmer this morning and gather yourself together, then we're going to inhale for 4 with the arms coming up. In front of us, so palms facing each other. And then we're going to exhale for 6, bringing them back down. So there's a little bit of energy in both of them. This one's a bit more lifting. So you're lifting the arms up, palms facing each other for 4 to above your head. And then you're exhaling for 6, or as much as you can. Take a slow, slow exhale. So you choose which breath you want. Inhale 3-part for energy, or exhale, bringing them up above your head and then taking 6 on the exhale to slow you down. So our Langana Brahmana that we did last week. Langana being this one that slows us, Brahmana being the one that activates us. Take a couple of more breaths at whatever you've chosen. Really use the breath, really use the inhale or the exhale, whichever you've chosen. Really try and use it to expand that feeling that you want to get from it. And then let go of the breath after the next exhale. And just lie still, close your eyes if you're comfortable to do so. And just notice how you feel now. Just watch, be a witness. Have you received whichever energy you wanted, whether active or calming? Maybe it's just begun. Okay, so forward we're going, thinking the same way of this Langana Brahmana, what you need this morning. So probably what you felt you needed in the breath, maybe what you feel you need in these choice of poses, but you might want to change it up. So there's no set thing. So everybody on your back, eyes open now. We're going to bring our right knee in, our left knee in. We're going to come into wind pose because it's all about windmills. So hands in either behind the thighs or on the shins. Just have a 2 or 3 little squeezes on the breath if you can. So you're exhaling your thighs towards you as you squeeze. Exhale, inhale. Just letting the back warm up a little bit here before we move on to the choice. So we're not saying everything's easy this morning. Even the non-active may seem quite strong. Okay, so keep your knees there in Apanasana, wind pose. Keep your hands on your shins or thighs. And then we're going to just tuck our chins, everybody, and roll up slowly. Lifting the shoulders, coming up into hedgehog. So curled up in a little ball. Now, the non-active is to just stay here and hold, which you might disagree that it's non-active. There's a lot of switching on going on now as you are all here. We're starting to hold. Engage your bellies. That needs to be engaged here. That's the core. That's the point everything's being drawn into. Try and soften your arms. Let them try and be heavy across your shoulders. Keep your chin engaged. Let your feet go heavy. And the idea here is to switch off as much as possible. So everybody then roll down slowly through the back, from the middle of the back up towards your head, back down into Apanasana. Have a little stretch away, everybody. So that's the non-active choice this morning. Whether it's a wall or a windmill for you, it depends on whether you can switch off. The other choice is to bring our knees in, bring our hands to our shins, curl up into hedgehog, and then we're going to breathe in and we're going to open. Arms come above the head, legs come out in front of us, and close on the exhale. So this is a moving, dynamic version of Apanasana. So you're on the breath, inhale, out, exhale, legs coming together. That really needs the abdominal muscles engaged. So everybody feet to the floor once more. So that's the 2 choices here. Hedgehog and hold and breathe and try and find softness. Or the activating one where you've got to take the legs and arms out, on the breath. You choose. We've got about 5 to 10 repetitions of the movement or holding for about 20 to 30 seconds. If you just want to stay in Apanasana this morning, take that choice too. Okay, so move into whichever one you want. Those that are holding, begin to breathe. Now really use the breath. Everybody that wants to be active, we breathe in, we take the arms out, we lift the legs, Nothing else is moving, we're just unfolding really. Bring my arms back down, keep the head up, we're not taking the shoulders down, we're just moving shoulders and legs. Those that are just in hedgehog, try and soften the shoulders, try and soften the feet, but hold on gently to your abdominal muscles. That's the center point. Imagine that's the only point of you that needs to hold. The others of you try and move on the breath. I'm going a bit fast here. Using the core, feeling the openness as you open up, drawing it all together as you bring it back in. So are you finding this a wall now? Either position you've chosen to do, or either version, is it becoming your wall, or are you able to work on it as a windmill? Can you work with it, with the wind, rather than building a barrier? Okay, so when we're ready, we're going to bring our legs together, everybody, and then just start to roll down from the center to the back until the heads gently touch the floor. Take the legs down to the floor one at a time, feet to the floor, and then take the arms above the head if you feel like it, legs away from you. Have a right side body stretch, left side body stretch. Have a little wriggle through the hips or shoulders, maybe gently rock the head from side to side. Notice where you need to release now. That's where you built your barrier in that pose. In me, it's my neck. Okay, so take a breath for a second, and then we're moving on to a second option. And we're coming up now into a kind of modified side plank. So up onto your side, on your elbows, so elbow under your shoulder, whichever side, doesn't matter, we're going to do both obviously. So we're in a kind of side plank here. First version is our windmill one, which is a more easeful one. So we're taking it, or it might be your wall. We put the other hand onto our waist here, not on our hip as we would normally, but onto our waist. And then we're going to, everybody try this version. You'll need to do this for the second one anyway. So we're just going to then lift your left side of your waist, if your underside of your waist up, and move the top side of your waist into your palm of your hand and hold. So there's a difference between dumping here into everything and lifting up and holding. So as you do that, you'll lift out of your left, your under shoulder as well. Think of the top shoulder, think of rolling it back, think of tucking that tummy in and tucking the bottom under. And then let the feet go soft. You don't need to flex the feet here. So the engagement is in the abdominal muscles around the waist, and maybe a little bit in your shoulders, a little bit in your neck, but see where you can find the ease while still holding this position. Okay, so then you can release for a moment if you want. Everybody else, other options are to do the same thing and lift the arm up and down as we stay here with the waist lifted, not quite at the speed I'm showing you, and on your breath. Or third option is to lift the leg and the arm at the same time. So those are your three, but everybody, what I want to focus on is that underside of your waist lifting up and the tummy muscles. Okay, so go into it whenever you're ready. So either holding, keeping your alignment, but trying to soften as much as you can. Sorry, I'm going too fast. Breathe in, lift if you're lifting. Exhale down, so much slower, makes it a little bit harder. Inhale up. Exhale down. Keep lifting that underside of the waist. Inhale up. Exhale down. 3 more. Keep holding, anybody holding. If your waist dropping, notice what's giving a little bit too much. Don't make your pose disappear. Try and hold on to the waist and the tummy muscles. Okay, last one. And then we're coming over onto our tummies. And just pop your head on your hands for a moment. Take a breath. And just notice around your waist, even when you've chosen the point of stillness in that position, notice that there's still energy coming into that area around your tummy and your waist. Possibly still in your shoulder because you were having to hold in the strength work there. So it's not that you're doing nothing. You've just chosen the way that your body wants to work this morning. Okay, so now we're coming into half bow. So the very easeful way is to fold your right leg and bring it up towards your bottom. So your heel to your bottom on your right leg. And then keep your head on your hand, on your left hand, which is folded under your head. And take your right hand behind you, catch your trousers or your ankle or the front of your foot. Keep your head down. So this is the more Landana position of this. This is the less active. So here we're thinking of trying to find ease. So we're trying to think maybe of just gently pressing. Everybody can try this, by the way. Pressing the hip bone into the floor, find that connection, and then draw it back just a minute amount, just soften. Take the knee slightly down the mat if you can, the folded knee, and then just soften a little bit. Try and find the space and then find the ease. And that's it. You may find a little bit of tightness in your right shoulder, so you want to try and release the weight of your shoulder so that your hand's kind of hanging off your foot and your foot's connected there because of your hand. So that's that choice. Other choice is to press into the front forearm, have the shoulder and elbow under each other so that we come up. So you're holding here, and then we kick into our hand with our right foot and open the right shoulder. So that's a hold position. All these are hold positions. So that's your second choice. Third choice, which is a little bit harder, is just to rotate slowly. Let your head look behind you. You're opening up a bit more in that right shoulder and you're looking back towards your right foot. But you're trying to keep your hip bone on the floor. So it's just really your upper body that you're rotating. So that's the strongest version. You choose. I'm going to take 10 breaths here, whichever point you choose. So begin now. So I was suggesting them all were trying to find a little bit of ease though. However active the pose might be, you should still be trying to find that sukha, that ease. Try and move with it. Make it a windmill rather than a wall. Sometimes when change happens, you want to draw in and build a wall. It's not always a bad thing. If that's the way you feel, that's maybe what you need. Remember that. It's not always about racing headlong into a challenge. We're trying to think about thinking here before we act, really. What's the best way for you? Okay, so ready to let go, whichever position you're in, release. Nice big stretch through that right thigh there. We're going to move straight into the left thigh now. Same choice, or you might want to try something different. So one of those three choices, either head down and make it as easeful as you can, come up onto your elbow and take the foot in your hand in both those positions, obviously. And then we're thinking of keeping the hip joint connected, kicking the foot back into the hand and rotating the upper body just to look back over your shoulder. And then we want to find the breath. Whichever position you're in, the breath is your tool here to find that little point of ease, to find the strength. So use your inhale to try and find a little bit more strength if you need it. Exhale to release. Notice if this side's a little bit different. If you're lying with your head on your hands, try and release the shoulder, make it heavy. Try and release the knee away from you, back onto the mat. And then everybody Gently turn around if you're looking backwards, let the knee go. Have a full body stretch here, head to the floor. A little bit of a stretch out. Give your glutes a squeeze. And then release those thighs. Have a couple more. Squeeze the glutes together. And watch the thighs relax as you let them go. One more. And then we're coming over onto the other side. Oops. You decide this morning again, we know what we're doing in these ones, so it's either this, lifting up, or moving your arm on the breath and lifting a little bit higher. That's the second, which is a bit more active, obviously, or moving arm and leg on the breath. But thing to remember is, everybody, lift that underside of your waist and draw the tummies in. So begin when you want to. We're inhaling up and down if you're going for the movement. If you're finding the stillness, we're just lifting, holding and breathing. Which is harder? For some, it would be the holding. If you've chosen the active, it's not necessarily always for the right reasons. Have a think about that one. Make sure your tummies are all drawn in and bottoms are tucked under, and that the top shoulder isn't rolling forward. Bit of a windmill thing here. So to find the ease is sometimes much more difficult than to find the action in an asana. And sometimes it's much more difficult to stand still than to be a windmill. And once that windmill starts going, it's very hard to stop it if there's a strong wind. A lot of philosophy this morning, isn't there, for a Monday morning? Okay, last one. And then release. And rotate and come down onto your backs. Maybe have a stretch or a rock there, whatever you feel your body needs to release slightly. And then we're coming into bridge position, so bring our heels in as close to the bottom as you can. I find for my body, it's much easier for me to shuffle my bottom closer to my feet than it is to bring my feet closer to my bottom. So maybe something to do with the length of my short legs, but have a shuffle either way and try to get your heels as near your bottom as possible. And make sure the feet, the hip distance apart. So we've got nice knees should be roughly over your ankles. Okay, so options here. Everybody's got a little bit of action. We're going to find a pelvic tilt. So on the exhale, we pelvic tilt. Everybody come with it to start. We're just going to lift up on the inhale, taking the arms with us, opening the whole of the front body, and then we're exhaling back down. It's not always good for us to just stay and hold. So we're putting in a bit of movement in here. So this is the first version, but try and make it easeful. Try and use the breath. We begin the breath before we use the movement. So that's our first version. Keep doing that. Anybody that wants to come a little bit further, not so much action it might seem. We're going to lift up. On your next up, stay up if you want to take the second version. Now you're stuck. And then we're going to lift the right leg up and take the arms back down in the exhale. Inhale, leg comes down, arms come up above the head. Sorry, it's inhale up, legs come up, arms go down. So it's the opposite with your arms. Exhale, everything goes down at the bottom, everything comes up at the top. So lift the right leg, lift the arms. If you get the breath wrong and I'm not cueing very well, then just breathe. So that's the active one. We're holding up here so the bottom's not going down. The other version is up and down, rolling up through the spine, opening up the front body as smoothly as you can. Try and move the movement through the body slowly. If you're staying up, engage the core muscles. Try and take it slowly. Lift and squeeze those glutes. Don't forget about the core while we're lifting. Watch that your toes aren't clasping onto the floor. Press into the feet rather than the toes. Notice where the wall's starting. If you're active, notice where the wall is beginning. Try and find that ease. Maybe you have to squeeze your glutes a little bit harder. Maybe you have to relax your shoulders a little bit more. And then everyone slowly roll down on the next. Roll down through the vertebrae, take the arms down with you. And stretch away. Arms above head if you feel like you need it. Have a side stretch, right and left. And then next, last one here is our option of taking our right leg in and our left leg in, and we're back into Apanasana. You can stay here, you can have a little rock through your back, loosen up, or you can have a circle of your knees, do whatever you feel you need in Apanasana. Or you can take the next version, which is to take your right leg up, foot flat to the floor. We're going into Happy Baby. So you either hold on to your shin here and draw your knee down towards your right armpit. You take the side of your foot if you can and wrap your forearm across your shin, so your elbow's now inside your leg, and then take the other leg and do the same. So this one is more of a wall now rather than a windmill, possibly. Just decide if that's been the one for you. You may have to change your mind, and that's another thing. We don't always need to be a windmill or a wall. We can change halfway through. So if you're in Apanasana and you've got a lot of movement going on and you're enjoying the release and the ease, just take a moment to think why you've chosen that one and how it's going to help you this week. Those that have chosen to come into Happy Baby, work out now whether you've chosen the right pose and whether you've chosen it for the right reason. If you're in Happy Baby, you might want to just have a little bit of movement in by rolling across your back. So rocking from side to side. Much harder in Happy Baby to try and release those shoulders. Soften them and take them away from your ears. Try and tuck your chin a bit, have a bit of a longer back of the neck. Try and soften through the soles of your feet. So we can be and choose to be easeful and strong at the same time. Sthira Sukha. So once you put a little bit of movement into Happy Baby, notice that the wall breaks down a bit. Just as if you were doing Apanasana moving. Okay, so everybody, when we're ready, we're going to come down, feet one at a time to the floor. And then reach away with the feet. Come back into Shavasana where we started. Option just to lie here and feel the spread on the floor. Or to put a little bit of movement into the shoulders and the legs by taking some snow angels. So sweeping the arms up above our head and the arms wider. Imagine you're lying in the snow. Oh, to be in the snow. And do a few snow angels, just gently opening up and moving. Otherwise, just lie and take a little scan of your body and notice how it is. After your next snow angel, come back to stillness, to Shavasana. Come back to your breath. Without control, just witness it. Notice what it's doing now. Has it changed? If it's changed, how has it changed? Is it deeper? Maybe it's shorter. Maybe it's showing that you've been active when you actually think you've just been lying on the floor. Take control of it now and take 3 breaths in for 4, X for 4, and think of the energy that you're drawing in just by breathing. So inhale right down through to the bottom of your tummy and exhale from there, filling up and emptying new energy, stale energy. And then take the last couple and sigh that stale energy out of you. Through the mouth, let all that stale energy go. Cleaning and changing things up, ready for the week ahead. Let go of the breath, just let your body settle for a second. Maybe flicker your eyes open, look at the ceiling, just connect again to the room. Have a wiggle of the fingers and a wriggle of the ankles and the feet. Roll right up through to the hips, let them have a rock, maybe your shoulders. Bring some movement back into the room. And then gently roll over to your side. Take your time, we've been on the floor a lot, or all the time actually, so keep your eyes open and take your time coming up. And we come back to, Sukhasana. And just find that posture again. Let the shoulders sink slowly down your back, soften a little bit. Draw the tummy in and then soften it just a little bit. Lift up through the crown and then just soften just a little bit. Everything slightly softening down to your sit bones. So, windmills and walls. When the wind of change blows, some build walls while others build windmills. Thank you everybody for your practice. Hopefully see some of you at Yoga Nidra tonight, 8 o'clock on the dot. And otherwise see you in the morning. Namaste.